Hi Sag, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your cards for July. July is such a cool month. I am so excited for it. I'm like halfway through these readings. I'm looking at what's going on in everybody's lives. And although it's probably going to feel a little bit rough around the edges, I want to say, July is going to trigger us in a lot of ways. But really, the productive energy is to get us out of our comfort zone. It's to accomplish something we've never been brave enough to do before. It's to get us unstuck. And that's very clear in your cards, as we're coming up with a huge emphasis on expression. Now, we're starting off the month with this major T-square in the first week of July with Mars, Saturn, and Uranus. And this is all occurring in your 3rd, 6th, and 9th house. These are like mental breakthrough houses. This is like leaving drama behind, being able to express your true wants and needs, being able to move towards it. And it's about your comfort with the self-expression itself. Because we have such an emphasis on the Cancer and Leo houses, as we do every summer, but this one especially because we have Mars and Venus coming together in a conjunction in your 9th house, it is so super important for you to be open to or allow yourself to expand within your life, probably from the heart place. That Cancer, Sun, and Mercury moving through your 8th house is super productive as well, because it's about allowing yourself to open up, to be vulnerable, which is where we're all at, right? There's probably new opportunities headed our way. As well, we have like loose ends that we have to tie up, you know. Really, this is a month of kind of jumping timelines in our life, making those bigger changes, making big decisions on what we want to come next. Most of us aren't going to want the same old thing, right? We're not going to struggle and go through these huge changes just for more of the same old. So there's a closing out of the past. Not even necessarily like... sorry, when I channel, my nose itches so bad. Not necessarily of the past, but more of like the past version of self. How we used to do things, how we thought about things, what we thought was possible. And we're breaking through those barriers this month. And it's so important for you to see that like from a big picture. And it's a time of really taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, putting your wants and needs first. And I get that because your card this month is coming out as the King of Cups. Now, when I pulled this card, I don't usually take these cards in reverse, but this card came out in reverse. And when you see the 9-card block, the card is in reverse as well within your 9-card block. When we have a King of Cups in reverse, there is a tendency to try to control the emotions within our life, trying to control our emotional situations. The King of Cups upright is always safe. When you are in an environment or when you are in the mentality that regardless of what the outside world gives to you, regardless of like the shit sandwich that sometimes we all have to experience, we know that we're okay, right? When situations don't work out, when we don't get support from the people we thought would support us, when the jobs don't come through, when the people we love leave, whatever kind of heartbreaking situation it is, a King of Cups in reverse can kind of use his emotional body and his emotional intelligence to manipulate the situations. I don't mean that in a negative way. We all do this because what happens, the King of Cups feels unsafe in some way, like his survival is being threatened. This often happens when we're facing a situation like losing a job or losing a relationship or a partner that's important to us. And most likely it's like this thing that we built up this vision for our lives, right? We have this vision of our lives. And if this one particular detail or this one thing doesn't work out, then we have to go back to the drawing board. which means we have to implement our imagination and our dream place again. And sometimes that's uncomfortable because we already did the work. We already made the plan. We already thought this was going to go a certain way. The King of Cups upright knows that the universe has their best intentions for them. When things don't work out, it's because other things are meant to take a part into your life. When things don't work out, there's probably a really big lesson behind it. And once you embrace the lesson, you can move on to bigger and better things. The King of Cups has a lot to do with our relationship with self. We can never put an emphasis on other people to make us happy. I can't say that enough. This is why relationships and codependency never works, because you can only love somebody from a place of how much you love yourself. Sag, if that's you, then this month is probably going to be a lot about drawing boundaries, setting standards, creating higher standards for yourself and for others to meet in your life in order to qualify and be a part of it. So I'm picking up a lot about boundaries here. If this energy is because of someone else's codependency issues, you have to choose yourself. In other words, not only can you not put that responsibility of your happiness on others, but nor do they have the right to do that to you. And we can't spend our whole lives trying to create an environment for someone else, because it's likely that they will be unhappy anywhere. I'm not sure why I'm getting into this, but I'm sure it has a point. There's an instant, like, we have a way of creating our own reality. And if there's people in our lives, or if we're doing this where we feel unhappy in this place, most likely a move or a jump or a different situation or a new relationship, like that whole grass is greener on the other side, it's really not going to solve the issues. The grass is never greener on the other side, because you're taking that same perspective, you're taking that same codependency with you to that place. Therefore, the same things are going to happen. You are not responsible for anybody else's happiness. And if they feel like they're going to be happy somewhere else, then it's a really good time for you to focus on you. It's a really good time for you to set the boundaries and say, I can no longer participate in a situation that doesn't honor me, that doesn't treat me the way that I deserve. I no longer want to participate in relationships with people that make me feel like they don't want to be here, like they're not on my team. Now, I say that because your environment card, we got two cards. We got the Hermit card and the Justice card. Now, underneath this is a 12th house escape card, card number 36, breaking down to a 9. Your environment is a little bit tricky, because I think for a while, Sag, there might be a feeling of isolation. Maybe there was a relationship that's been put on hold, or maybe there was an opportunity that you've put on hold. The Hermit card is where we go within. It's a Virgo energy. We can retract our energy and try to figure life out in a little bit, And this could be a partner who's trying to figure stuff out a little bit. And again, the Virgo energy. So some of you might specifically be dealing with a Virgo. I think it was kind of weird when I did the bonus readings last month, both Virgo and Sag, their readings kind of spoke to each other. So this very well could be a continuation of that story. But underneath the Hermit card, I don't ever pull two cards for this, but these cards came out together, and what Spirit wants, Spirit gets. Justice card in the upright means that somebody may be trying to make a situation right. Again, this energy of working out the codependency issues. Now, the Hermit card shows wisdom. So if you've been dealing with a partner who's had some codependency issues, this could be in the form of addiction, this could be in the form of just not being able to open up emotionally or to connect emotionally, which might have left you feeling somewhat unloved and lonely and isolated as well. The Justice card is a promise that this will be made right. Oh, it's not a promise that everything is going to work out the way that you pictured it, but it will ultimately be what's best for everyone involved. For some of you, you may have to walk away from a situation. You might have to give up on something. And in that, it's like for your best interest, for your best good, because you're ready to grow. You're ready to expand. And maybe this person isn't. Now, we talk about that a lot on this channel. We talk about how we have to be okay with people being on their own path and their own journey. You know, you never want to force somebody to be with you or to do this thing with you, because if their whole heart isn't in it the way that your whole, then it's energy that is undeserving. The universe is always going to correct that. Because we have this 12th house escape card along with the Hermit and the Justice, there may be a situation where you have the opportunity, or a person you're dealing with has an opportunity to get some real help. Some of you might be dealing with somebody who is going into rehab or getting some kind of like therapy. Maybe you are getting therapy or seeing a therapist, trying to work out some of these issues, trying to figure out why these situations continue to occur. But interestingly enough, underneath this King of Cups in the upright is the North Node. Step out of your comfort zone. Now, Sag, usually my Sages are not ones that like hide expressing themselves in any way. It's very easy for you guys to express yourselves. But sometimes we're in situations that aren't right, and we feel a little bit vulnerable, and therefore we can't say the things or express ourselves the way that we want to. When we have Saturn in our third house of communication, as you do, it could make the expression really hard. Now we have Saturn retrograde making a T-square to Mars and Uranus, and there's like all of this, yeah, but I gotta say the things. Now maybe you're confessing your love and unconditional support for somebody. Maybe you're telling somebody, I can't deal with this anymore, that you have to fix yourself. If you want to be with me, you have to fix yourself first. Either way, again, there's a sense of boundaries here, because we have the Justice card over the 12th house. 12th house is really boundaryless, right? It's the dissolving or the melding. And this might be a time where you've got to start kind of the separation process of what, you know, if you're dealing with somebody who's dealing with addiction issues, and you've spent a long time trying to help them through some things, when it's all said and done, when it's time to either end it or that person gets help or things start to get resolved and there's new hope, there's a time period where you have to separate what's yours and what's theirs. It's not just about the other person healing themselves. There's always an acknowledgement that you have healing to do as well. You're not the only ones that are going through this. You know, this is why we have like Al-Anon programs. How do you forgive, and how do you heal, and how do you open your heart up again after being in that situation? The Justice card can talk about forgiveness, and the 12th house can talk as well about, you know, the melding back together. Now, I'm going to put the 9-card block up here for you guys to take a look at the cards as I go through. Your first card out is the Queen of Wands. And I do pick up this energy of, especially as she's kind of staring at this Page of Pentacles, there's an energy of expectations here. The Queen of Wands is expecting an offer or a conversation or a promise. I always get a promise with the Page of Pentacles, like the initial proposal of some sort, usually not like an engagement or anything like that, but probably a conversation of like, where is this going to go? What are we doing here? What's the plan? You know, because it's planting a seed. The Page of Pentacles is planting a seed. And the Queen of Wands staring straight at this person kind of expecting them to grow a little bit. And I see that because we have the Knight of Pentacles underneath the Queen of Wands. Now, Queen of Wands isn't somebody that likes to stay still, right? She wants to see progress. She's kind of this bulldozer energy. Let's get it done. Let's make the arrangements. Let's schedule the appointments. Let's, very future oriented, but it's in a positive mindset, And I like the Queen of Wands because she does say to me that there's nothing that's impossible and there's nothing that can't be fixed. And she's all about that passion and that love that's going to really exude from all of us in the month of July. And I think the Queen of Wands wants to plant seeds for a healthier future, the Five of Swords in reverse. And this is really that T-square in your third, ninth, and third, sixth, and ninth house. It's about wanting the healthier life. It's about wanting the healthier relationships and having those expectations. The Queen of Wands doesn't beg for anybody's cooperation, right? We don't get any of that energy, not from the queens, not from the kings, never. But the Queen of Wands is an indication that you are in a receiving mode. Your expectations for other people's promises. And because the Five of Swords is in reverse, it's kind of taking away the power that this has over you. And this is what I mean about you're going to come into this phase where you start to realize that you don't have to stay in unhappy situations and that yourself, your vitality, your emotional experiences are very important and probably not second priority to somebody else's issues. This is always a really hard journey for a lot of us dealing with any kind of familial or, love interests that have addiction issues. Now, the Queen of Wands, rooted down by the Knight of Pentacles and the Six of Cups in reverse, is kind of like taking off the rose-colored glasses. I actually really like this energy for you. Because the Six of Cups is in reverse next to this 12th house escape card, there's just a lot of energy here about being honest about your needs, being honest about the situation. Now we have this Page of Pentacles and then we have the Knight of Pentacles, and it tells me that there's growth. So if you're dealing with somebody who's got one foot in, one foot out, not really making the decisions that you need them to make in order for things to go the way that you want them to go, I think there will be clarity in July. At the very least, there will be clarity. With the Five of Swords in reverse, if anybody has been lying to you, if anybody has been dishonest, or if you've been in a very confused state for the past several weeks about how all of this is going to play out, there will be clarity. Other people's intentions will start to become very clear. If you're holding somebody on a pedestal, if you're kind of building sandcastles about the potential, I think it's going to be clear now. And with the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, there's like very slow movement. This person might be saying, yeah, I'm going to make these changes. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do that. And yet they don't. And you wait and you wait and you wait. But July comes and you're in this Queen of Wands energy and you want it done. You want it done now. You want the changes to be made. You want the changes to be implemented in some way. And they will be because you put your foot down. Because you're in the King of Cups energy, which is that of unconditional love for self. Now, when you're in the unconditional love for self, when you realize the priorities have got to be on you and you first, that's when the really cool stuff can start to happen. And the middle of July, once we get through all these T-squares, once we get to that Mars-Venus conjunction, everything starts to clear out. And by the end of July, believe it or not, I promise you guys, things are going to get a little calmer. We're going to start to know our place. Things are actually going to get kind of romantic and nice and soft for a little while. It's going to be a really welcome change to where we've been in the past couple of months. But there's going to be this push before we get there. Center of the card, center of your readings is the Eight of Wands, upright, and that's about forward movement. That's about really open communication and expressing yourself. Sag, if you have been holding yourself back in any way, feeling unsafe to say the way that you're feeling or say the things that you need, that changes this month with the Judgment card. There could be scenarios, of course, with this T-square. There could be certain external circumstances, certain things that happen that kind of force this change within the dynamic. That's for certain, if you've got somebody who's dragging their feet on making a commitment to change or make their life better. And if they're holding you back, the universe might come and give them a little bit of a tower moment, which I see the Eight of Wands and the Judgment card to me is like somebody else's tower moment and how it affects your life. If you're dealing with somebody, you might be kind of hitting rock bottom in a way. You might be out of the picture or looking at it from a distance with that Knight of Pentacles. You might have put some distance on the situation, and you might be hearing about so-and-so. I hate to use this example, but it is just an example, but so-and-so got a DUI and they have to do a mandatory rehab thing. And this is really the thing that happens to start to implement the big changes. And what I'm trying to say is when it happens, it might feel a little bit like a catastrophe to them, like the worst case scenario. But for you, it brings up this renewed hope. Now, if you're with somebody who doesn't seem to want to make a commitment in some way, or if you're in a job, but it's not moving in the right direction, again, something's probably going to happen before the middle of the month that really forces the changes within the environment. And that's what I'm saying when we have the Hermit card and the Justice card. The Hermit card is where we could be stuck, right? The Hermit card is where we go introverted into ourselves and start to do the healing. And the Justice card is when it becomes apparent to other people. And I think that's what this person is doing. You may not be aware of the changes that are happening because the Queen of Wands could be a little bit impatient, right? Now, she's not in reverse, so it's not bad impatience, and I want to say you have every right to be impatient. You have every right to be pushing for these things to happen. And I do feel it's time. It's time for these changes to occur. It's time to start making life better, whatever avenue that is for you. And because we have the Six of Cups in reverse and the King of Cups in reverse and the Sun, to me, we're leaving behind an old way of life. We're leaving behind the old way of how we dealt with things. If you are in scenarios where it feels like the other people are not cooperating, they're not pulling their weight in some way, they're stuck in escapist behavior or, not serving the, and this is exact, I can't say it enough, guys. A person can only love you as much as they love themselves. This is where we get stuck in toxic loops and toxic situations. If you could look at a person and look at the way that they live their lives and the way that they feel about it, and it's not to say that everybody's perfect or in love with their lives or everybody has the best intentions. Of course not. But at the core of it, if a person is in a self-sabotaging mode in some way, really there's nothing that you can do. And if you take the rejection that you get from that, because ultimately it causes a rejection, right? If this person loved me, they would stop drinking. If this person loved me, they would stop using. If this person loved me, they would make these changes in their life to better themselves. That's not really where the changes are ever going to come from, and it's really not about you at all. We could take that King of Cups in reverse, and we can manipulate ourselves and others with it, right? So for some of us, we've been going through these situations and kind of using it as a guilt trip, guilting somebody into doing the right things. And that's never a productive energy. You can never operate out of a place of guilt or shame. It just creates another toxic circle. And I think that that's what is getting cleared out this month. Now, for some of you, there is a lot of potential to make this situation right. But you have to draw your boundaries and love yourself first. You have to probably let this person go away for a while, do their healing, do their growing, and let them come back to you. Okay, again, that could be happening. For a lot of you, this is really about letting it go. Walking away from these situations guilt-free, knowing that you loved the situation, you put in the hard work, you were determined, there was passion, there was follow through on your end, and it just didn't work because they were not in a place where they can love you at your level. And so there's like this radical acceptance of that. And there's a return to love for self. And when we get there, and I love this for the bookend of your reading, is the Sun card. And this is the energy of you being authentic and true to yourself. This is everything about this Leo season and this Mars-Venus conjunction. When we have a Mars-Venus conjunction in the sign of Leo, it's all about the rebalancing. Again, also emphasized with the Justice card and the scales, there's a rebalancing. There is a breakthrough in knowing what you deserve. And because we have this North Node card, step out of your comfort zone. Those comfort zones can oftentimes be really miserable places, right? We get stuck in relationship cycles where we are dishonored or disrespected or not treated the way that we deserve. Those scenarios can actually become a comfort zone for us because we don't know anything, or it's been a long time since we've known or felt anything healthier. And the Sun is a promise that there will be contrast. Now, what I love the most is not only did you pull the Sun card, but you pulled the Nine of Cups card, and underneath that, oh, it just keeps getting better, is the Moon card, the Four of Cups, and the Four of Wands. Lots of fours here, right here. We also have, and I'll show you in a second, an Oracle card number 4. I think there's like this journey where you start to like step into your own power and you start to say, no, I deserve better. No, I deserve more. And what you don't realize is that by you saying those things out loud to the universe, acknowledging it in yourself, not being afraid to say what you do want, what you do require, not being afraid to express those emotions and be vulnerable, it doesn't make you weak, okay? We're being vulnerable and we're expressing ourselves to a partner that makes us feel foolish. I promise you it's not the right partner. I promise you it's not the right scenario for you. But the universe is going to hear you. The universe hears what you want, hears your needs, hears you saying it out loud. The universe loves courage. And that's why it's so magical that that Mars and Venus are conjunct at this 19th degree of Leo, because the universe hears you. Now, a few years back, we had a really serious eclipse point, especially for people in America, at this 19 to 20 degree Leo energy. And I saw a lot of changes, a lot of relationships being broken apart at that time, getting out of scenarios that weren't right for us. Because we have the Mars-Venus conjunction, we've had a few years kind of to recover. I think it's been about 4 years since that eclipse. And here we go, we have this at the same degree, and there's like a healing aspect. There's a rebalancing and there's justice. When we show the universe that we're willing to walk away from scenarios that are not equal to and are not like in the form of justice for us, the universe brings us something better. And this is a promise, whether you realize it or not. Now, again, for some of you, the Moon card and the Four of Cups is kind of like you not realizing like maybe this person isn't in your life anymore. Maybe you have to cut them out. You have to draw that healthy boundary. But that might be their tower moment. And there might be a time where they have to retract and get healthier and make the changes, but their intentions are to come back. Maybe this is somebody new. This could be somebody else stepping in and showing you what you do truly deserve. That life and love and relationships aren't about pain and rejection or struggle. It's actually a very healthy, happy place and a safe place to express yourself. And when you're with the right people, when you're in the right scenarios, you shouldn't feel afraid to express yourself in the first place. This should all come very naturally because you feel safe. There's an emphasis for me here on allowing yourself to feel safe. But either way, the changes that you make in July are really setting a tone for an entirely new cycle in your life. And it will bring in a lot of healing, a lot of stability as well. Underneath that Nine of Cups, we have card number 4, Caterpillar Opportunity. Now, I like this because it talks about looking at the world as if the things that happen are always an opportunity. Even the bad things are an opportunity. Even when things fall apart, there's an opportunity. It was Ram Dass always said it, suffering is like a gift because it brings us closer to God. It brings us closer to what we want and what we need. And that's what I'm picking up with that 4 energy. There's an opportunity that comes from all of the chaos, that comes from all of the movement, an opportunity for stability and renewal. And then we got card number 8, Come Together. So Sag, whether it's with this person or whether you've got to let somebody unhealthy go in order to clear a path for the new person to come in, either way, the action is the same. You're drawing a boundary and you're saying what you're willing to accept and what you're not. Either the person's going to step up to plate, make the changes that they need to make, improve it so they can be with you and they can be a worthy partner to you, or you're going to clear the path so somebody new can walk in. Really, really lovely reading, Sag. I absolutely love this energy. I do hope that every one of you are finding that inner strength to change your life, because that's what July is all about. The inner strength and the determination to make life better. So any intentions that you put forth at this time, really super important. And on a side note, with the Judgment and the Sun card, especially with the Knight of Pentacles here, this is really a side note, just kind of a intuitive message here, not necessarily from the cards. There are some really great things on YouTube that you can listen to that could really help you with this, as far as changing your perspective. There is an element here of you learning how to manifest better things in your life, and understanding. I want to say, if you can look up videos or the TED Talk by Brené Brown, that might really teach you a lot or help you to overcome the struggles that you've been stuck in for a little while. Brené Brown. As well as maybe even finding some spiritual teachers even on YouTube, or listening to some inspirational books or something like that that can really help you change your perspective. Again, guys, I can't express enough. 3rd house, 6th house, 9th house, this is all about how you think and on a daily basis. If some of you are implementing a prayer or a meditation practice regularly, because the 6th house is like a ritual or something that we do regularly, it's going to bring you a lot of opportunity to rebuild from a healthier place. And I really want to make this clear that if you are in a situation that's dealing with codependency or addiction in any kind, you are on a path to healing. This is not just the other person that needs to heal. There is a lot of wounds that you have to heal as well, and you have to make peace with. If the other person does the work and makes the changes, and you carry a lot of weight of resentment, it will still never come together. And if you carry that pain and that resentment into newer relationships, you can expect to repeat those cycles. So you cannot ignore your healing process here. All right, guys. Beautiful month of July. I do hope you guys have a great month. And I will see you again for your August readings, guys. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.